your surroundings. So from home, it might sound a little bit different than when you're at the studio. You might have different smells. Just becoming aware of your surroundings here. Some of those external factors going on. And then from here, start to shift your focus a little bit more inward. So checking in with how you're feeling this morning. Feeling a little bit tired, feeling a little energized, feeling confused about what day of the week it is, stressed or overwhelmed. And just notice maybe how those feelings are being expressed through the body. So are you maybe a little slumped over? Are you maybe holding on to some unnecessary tension in the head, the neck, the shoulders, maybe the lower back? And just with this upright spine, notice how you can maybe let go of any of that. And then finally, shifting your focus just to the breath. And noticing the inhale and the exhale. Just seeing if you can steady that breath a little bit here. Maybe evening out the inhales and exhales. Go ahead and take one more round of breath here. Letting that go. Bring the hands together at heart center. Pressing the palms into one another. Just allow for an intention to rise for your practice. So your intention could be a word, could be an image, could be a phrase or a mantra. Whatever it is, let it be something that you can come back to as you move through your practice. When the breath starts to get a little bit quick and unsteady, the mind starts to wander. Just rope it all back in and come back to that intention. We'll seal our intentions with a deep inhale and exhale together. So taking a deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth, sigh it out. And then go ahead and blink the eyes open, but keep the palms where they are. And just interlace the fingers here. Take some circles of the wrists in one direction. And then the other. And then bringing everything back to neutral here. We'll push the palms away from the body. Begin to round through the spine. The head can drop. And then breathe in here, reaching the fingertips high. Maybe allow the spine to arch, the head can drop back. And then rounding through the spine. Inhale as you reach high. Exhale as you round. Nice, one more time, just like that. And then we'll breathe the fingertips back up. And then drop the ribs down here. So release that arch of the spine. Bring everything to neutral. Reach the fingertips high. Take a breath in. And we'll release the left elbow behind the head, bringing the right elbow down. And then begin to drop everything over towards that elbow. Releasing the hand down. Bring the hand behind the head. Find an opening through the chest. Take a breath in. And then exhale, bringing the elbow towards the opposite elbow, round through the spine. Inhale to open it out. Exhale to round. Inhale. And exhale. Breathing in here, open the chest. And then go ahead and extend that top arm alongside the ear. So check in with the sit bones here. Make sure that both sit bones are nice and grounded, especially that left one might want to peel up on the side. And then find that reach all the way from the sit bone through the fingertips. Take a breath in. And then exhale the hands, the outs of the thigh, bring the right hand behind you. Take a twist out. So as you breathe in, stack one vertebrae on top of the other. And then exhale to twist. One more time. On your next inhale, sweep that back arm around. Bring it alongside the ear, and then bring that left ear towards the leg. So you're going to feel that reach from fingertip to fingertip. Trying to keep the sit bones grounded here as well. Take a breath. And then exhale that hand out the opposite knee. Allow the head to hang heavy. Take a breath into the shoulder blades. Let it go. And then breathe in, sweeping the arms. Heart will come behind you. Find a lift through the chest here. Coming to fingertips. Maybe allowing the head to drop back. And then chin to the chest. Sweep the arms. Reach them out long in front of you. Allow the head to release in the direction of the mat. Take a deep breath in. And then drag the fingertips as you exhale, coming all the way up to a neutral spine. And then just switch the crossing of the legs here. So repositioning, settling in, and then bring the hands together at heart center. From here, take the opposite interlace of the fingers if you can remember it. And then start to circle the wrists. Just loosening up. And then reversing the direction of that circle. Coming back to neutral here, keep the fingers interlaced. And then we'll push the palms away as we round the spine. Drop the head. Inhale to reach high. Maybe following the fingers with your gaze. Exhale to round. Inhale to reach. Exhale to round. Nice, once more like that. And then we'll knee back with the arms overhead. Go ahead and drop the rib cage down. Getting everything together. Grounding down to the sit bones. Find a reach up through the arms. Take a breath in. And then we'll bring the right elbow behind the head this time. Allow the left to drop down. Find an opening through the shoulder. And then allow that elbow to start pulling you down to the side. Ground down the palm. And then bring the right hand behind the head. Find an opening through the chest. Take a breath. And then exhale to round. Inhale, open out. Exhale to round. Inhale to open. Exhale over. Nice. Opening it out here this time. We'll extend that arm alongside the ear, finding that reach from the fingertip to the grounding down with the right hip. And then check in with the left shoulder. Make sure you can drop it down away from the ear. Take a breath. Exhale that top hand down. Take a twist out. Bring the left hand behind this time. Breathe and stack one vertebrae on top of the other. Breathe out, twist. Inhale to grow a little taller. Exhale to deepen your twist. Nice. Sweeping that back arm alongside the ear. Bring the right ear towards the thigh. And then find that reach from fingertip to fingertip. Make sure that left sit bone's still grounded. Take a breath in. Exhale your hand down to grab the opposite thigh. Allow the head to hang heavy. Take a deep breath in here. Let it go, maybe sinking a little bit deeper. And then breathe and sweeping the arms alongside the body, cartwheeling them behind you. Find a lift through the chest here. And then option to stay with this or maybe peel the hips up, deepening your back bend. And then lowering the hips back if you lifted, chin will come to neutral. Sweep the arms alongside and then reach them out long in front of you. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Use your entire exhale to drag the fingertips, rolling all the way up. And then just roll the shoulder blades back a few times. Loosening those guys up. And then roll them forward. And then we'll set up for a tabletop position. So removing your block if you're sitting on one. Go ahead and shift over, coming onto hands and knees. So spreading the fingers nice and wide here, grounding down through the palms. Stack the shoulders over the elbows, over the wrists. And then ground down the tops of the feet into the mat. As you breathe in, drop the belly, lift the feet. As you breathe out, round through the spine, bring the nose towards the navel. Breathe in to drop the belly. Breathe out to round. Maybe allowing the eyes to close here. Taking a couple rounds of cat-cow, just matching your movement to your own breath. Checking back in with that intention. And then one more round of cat-cow. Meet back with a neutral spine. From here, walking the hands a palm distance or so in front of where they already are. We'll start to loosen up the hips. So begin to keep the core engaged as you shift the weight forward. So like you're coming into a knees down plank. And then shift the hips back. So kind of a small movement here to start. And then trying to keep a long spine as you come forward. You might feel the belly fire up. And then option to stay with this, or maybe shift forward so that the belly starts to drop. Maybe the gaze will lift. And then sink back so much that you're almost in a child's pose. So your choice, how big or small you'd like to make this movement so far. Nice, and then the next time you shift the weight forward, we're gonna shift the weight over to the right wrist, and the hips will circle back. Like you're almost gonna take a child's pose, and then circle to the left. Coming back to center, and moving through that 2 more times. And then the next time you get to the top, just reversing that direction of your circle. So coming over to the left this time. Rising up to the right. Twice more to the left. Coming back to neutral here. Go ahead and bring the knees about as wide as the mat. Toes can come together and then sink the hips all the way back this time. And allow the core to release onto the mat. Come into a child's pose. Your child's pose is a place you're welcome to come back to whenever you need it for your practice. Once you're there, you can close the eyes. Just let everything settle down. Taking one more breath here. And then spread the fingertips nice and wide. Rise up a bit so that you can tuck the toes. And then we'll lift the hips up and back. Coming into downward facing dog. So it might feel nice to keep a little bend in the knees here, first thing. And then you can just gently pedal the feet back and forth from side to side. Loosening up the backs of the legs. And then go ahead and come high onto both toes. We'll bend the knees and sink the hips back. So really try to find an extension from the fingertips all the way through the spine. And then gradually lowering the heels back in the direction of the mat, keeping that length. Take a breath in, come high on the toes, shift all the way forward into plank this time. You should feel the belly higher up here. Really try to find engagement, not only through the core, but also through the backs of the thighs, lifting towards the sky. Nice. From here, shifting the weight forward, coming onto the toes, lower the knees, untuck the toes, and then bend at the elbows, hooking into the midline, lower all the way down. Breathe and engage the backs of the legs, lift the chest, just so slightly, baby cobra. And then we'll lower it back down. We'll tuck the toes, peel the hips back, downward facing dog. Go ahead and start to pedal the feet once again. And then just gradually turning that pedaling into walking. Well, one foot and then the other, all the way to the top of the mat. So coming into a little bit of a forward fold here, so you can allow the bend in the knees to happen. And then staying here, maybe grabbing opposite elbows, allow the head to release. Notice where you can let go of tension in the head, the neck, the shoulders especially. Nice, and then take a deep breath in. Use your entire out breath to ground down the feet, and then roll all the way up. So you can release hold of the elbows as you rise. And then we'll come to Tadasana. So in your Tadasana, your toes can either be together, or they can be slightly apart, whatever feels more grounding for you. And then roll the shoulder blades back, knit the front ribs back together, gaze forward. Nice. So from your Tadasana, breathe in as you reach the arms high overhead. Exhale to fold over the legs. Breathe in, lifting the chest off the thighs, come to a flat back here. And then exhale to fold over the legs. Breathe in to reach the arms, rising all the way up. Exhale, Tadasana. We'll do that one more time. Breathing in to reach the arms. Breathing out, fold. Inhale, hands come to shins or thighs, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reaching the arms as you rise. Exhale, Tadasana. Breathe in as you reach the fingertips high. Exhale, fold. Coming on the fingertips here, we'll step the right foot back. So maybe wiggling those toes back if they didn't land quite where you wanted them. Coming into a low lunge, and then take a peek down. Make sure that that front knee is in line over the ankle. And then feel a reach through the back thigh. So we don't want to be dumping in. We really want to find that extension through that leg. Nice. Grounding down the palms. Step the left foot back to meet the right. Downward facing dog. On your inhale, come high on the toes, shifting forward into plank. And then we'll shift forward here. Lower the knees, untuck the toes. Lower all the way down. Breathe in, baby cobra. And then breathe out, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, sweep the right leg back. We'll step it forward between the hands. And then lower that back knee down. Untuck the toes. And then as you feel steady, you can bring the hands to the top of the right thigh. So since that back knee is down, we can allow the front hip to really sink. So much so that that knee can come forward of the ankle. Staying here, sweeping the arms alongside the ears. Maybe into an Anjaneyasana. A little bit of a back bend. Taking a breath in, reach through the fingertips. And then cartwheel the hands down on your exhale. I'm going to frame that front foot. Tuck the back toes, lift the back thigh, low lunge. Step that foot forward, forward fold. Breathe in as you reach the fingertips high. And breathing out, Tadasana. Inhale to rise. Exhale, fold. Coming to fingertips, we'll take the left foot back this time. So wiggling those toes back, and then take a check in with your low lunge. So making sure that back leg is nice and engaged. And that front knee is in line over the ankle. Grounding down the palms, step the right foot back, downward facing dog. On your inhale, coming forward into plank. Shifting forward, lower the knees, untuck the toes, lower all the way down. Breathe in, baby cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. On your next inhale, sweep the left leg back. Step it forward between the hands. You use your hand to guide it up if it didn't get there. And then lower the back knee, untuck the toes. Bring the hands to the top of that thigh. Start to sink into the hips. Staying here, sweeping the arms alongside the ears, reaching the fingertips high. Taking a deep breath in. Exhale the hands down. And then tuck the back toes, lift that leg, step it forward. Forward fold. Inhale, reaching the arms high as you rise. Exhaling Tadasana. Nice. Inhale to reach the fingertips high. Exhale to fold over the legs. Option to come to fingertips here, or maybe test your balance by bringing the hands to heart center. We'll step the right foot back once again. And then if your fingertips aren't already lifted, maybe just bringing them to a little bit of a hover. So start to really feel that engagement through the legs. Nice. One more breath. And then ground the palms, step the left foot back, downward facing dog. And we'll start to warm up the core a bit here. So as you breathe in, coming forward into your plank, feel the core engage. Take a breath. Exhale, hips will draw you up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale forward into plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale to plank. Thanks. And then option here to come forward, lowering the knees or lowering down all in one piece this time. Untucking the toes once you're there. Breathing in, take your back bend of choice. So baby cobra, or maybe lifting a little higher this time. And then lowering down. Take a breath in. On your exhale, push yourself through plank. We'll come back to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, sweep the right leg back. Stepping it forward between the hands. And then begin to engage the legs, bring the fingertips to a hover. And then sweep the arms alongside the ears. So coming into a high lunge. So first high lunge practice, we might want to keep a little bend in that back knee so you can really find an extension through the spine of the fingertips. As you get a little more warmed up, you might be able to extend through the back of that leg a bit more. Take a breath in here. And we'll bring the arms to a T. Take a twist to the right. So it might be a little bit wobbly. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, twist right. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, twist right. We'll stay here for a round of breath. So really think about sending energy from each fingertip to the opposite wall. And then inhale back to high lunge. We'll bring the hands through heart center and come down to frame the front foot. So option to come to the mat or the blocks. We'll find a lift through the chest, coming to that low lunge. And then exhale, straighten that front leg as you fold forward. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, straighten and fold. Nice, moving through that a couple more times. So kind of listening to your body here, whether you want to move through this, finding some of that fluid movement, or whenever you need a little bit of stillness, straightening through both legs, maybe stepping that back foot in a bit, and just releasing everything over. Staying with us for one more breath. And on your next inhale, bending into that front knee. Option to keep the fingertips where they are, or bring the hands to heart center. Pick a still point to focus on in front of you, and then step that left foot to meet the right, fold over the legs. Breathe and sweeping the arms, rise all the way up. Exhale, adjustment. Inhale, reach the arms high. Exhale to fold over the legs. Breathe in to lift the chest. Option to come to fingertips or maybe test it out by bringing the hands to heart center. We'll step the left foot back this time. And then wherever you are, so if the fingertips are still down, just lift them up maybe an inch or so. Let you feel the legs engage. One more breath. And then ground the palms. Set the right foot back. Downward facing dog. Inhale, coming forward into your plank. Pausing here. Take a breath in. Exhale, hips will draw you up and back. Inhale to plank. Exhale to dog. Nice. Inhale forward to plank. And then option to lower the knees or hug the elbows, lower all the way down. Breathe in, baby cobra, maybe full cobra. Exhale. Coming back together in downward facing dog. On your next inhale, sweep the left leg back. We'll step it forward between the hands. Bring that low lunge. And then fire up the legs here so that you're able to peel the fingertips high. So coming into high lunge. So it might be different on this side. You might be able to find a little more reach through the fingers. A little more extension to the back leg. Take a deep breath in, reach a little bit higher. And then exhale, arms will come to a T. Take a twist to the left. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, twist left. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, twist. Staying here for 4 on a breath. Find that reach from fingertip to fingertip. Nice, and then breathe in back to your high lunge. Hands come together at heart center and then fold forward. So coming to fingertips or maybe to blocks. We'll find that low lunge. And then exhale, straighten and fold over the front leg. Inhale, low lunge. Exhale, straighten and fold. So once again, listen to what your body needs. So doesn't need to move back and forth through this a few more times. Or does it need to find some stillness with both legs extended? We'll eventually knee back with both legs straight. And step that back foot in the bed here to help with balance. And then notice where you can let go. Can you release the shoulders? Loosen up the jaw. Nice, on your next inhale, bend back into that front leg. Option to keep the fingertips down or bring the hands to heart center. Picking a still point to focus on, step that back foot forward. Fold over the leg. Inhale to sweep the arms and rise. Exhale, Uttanasana. Nice, breathe in, reaching the arms high. Breathe out to hold. Lift the chest here, hands can come to shins or thighs. And then ground down the palms. We'll step directly back into plank. So wiggling the toes back here a bit. Find that engagement. And then option here for this vinyasa to lower the knees, lower all the way down. Or hug everything in, lower down just halfway. Inhale, push through the palms. I would say lift it here for up dog. And then exhale, hips will draw you back. Downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Open the mouth, sigh it out. And then looking forward between the hands. Come high on the toes, bend the knees, sink the hips. And then step or jump your feet to the top of your mat. Breathe into a flat back. Breathe out, fold. Inhale, reaching the arms as you rise all the way up. Exhale, Uttanasana. Once more, just like that. Inhale to reach. Exhale. Lifting into a flat back. Ground the palms. Maybe step back with the other foot this time to come into your plank. And then move to your vinyasa of choice. We'll come back together in downward facing dog. Take a few moments here to settle the breath, to return to that intention. As we move through practice, you're welcome to take whichever one of those variations you'd like. Or if you need a minute just to reground, you can meet us in downward facing dog or take a child's pose. One more breath in your downward facing dog. And then coming high on the toes, bend the knees, sink the hips. The bottom of your exhale, step or jump your feet. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, hold. Inhale, sweep the arms as you rise. And then exhale, Uttanasana. We'll bend the knees and sink the hips. Sweep the arms alongside the ears. So coming into your chair pose or Utkatasana. Take a peek down here. So you want to make sure feet can be together, but if they are, you want your knees together. Or you can have a little bit of space between the two, but you also want to have space between your knees. So whatever you're doing, make sure everything's in line. And then we'll sink back into the hips. Reach the fingertips in the opposite direction. Take a breath. Exhale to fold. Inhale, flat back. And then exhale, ground the palms. Step or maybe jump your feet back. Moving for that vinyasa of choice. We'll come back to downward facing dog. On your inhale, sweep the right leg back. Step it forward between the hands. And then ground down your back heel. Sweep the arms alongside the ears. Rising up. Warrior one. Trying to reach up through the fingertips. And then exhale, open it out, warrior two. So maybe lengthening your stance here by wiggling that back foot back, the front foot forward. So you really open through the hips. Reach out through the fingertips. Easing over that front hand. And we'll flip the front palm to reverse the warrior. So sweeping that arm alongside the ear. Make sure you don't lose that bend into the front knee here. Reaching back. And then cartwheel the hands down to frame the front foot. Come off that back heel, step the right foot back. Coming into your plank. Move through your flow. Or meet us directly in downward facing dog. On your next inhale, sweep the left leg back. Stepping it forward between the hands. Ground down the back heel, sweep the arms. Warrior one. So find a grounding down to the outer edge of that back foot. And then kind of reach through the fingertips. Breath in. Exhale, open it out, warrior two. So wiggling that foot back once again. And then peek down, make sure that front knee's in line over the ankle. And then the outer edge of that back foot's grounding down. Easing over the fingertip. Lift the front palm, reverse the warrior. Finding a reach through those left fingers. And then exhale the hands down to frame the front foot. Step your foot back, move through your flow. We'll meet back in downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in. Bottom of your exhale, step or jump your feet to the top of your mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Bend the knees, sink the hips, sweep the arms to rise, Uttanasana. Breath in here. Exhale, we'll just fold back over. Inhale to that flat back. And then exhale, ground the palms, step or maybe jump your feet back. Move through our vinyasa of choice. We'll meet us directly in downward facing dog. On your inhale, sweep the right leg back. We'll come forward into a hover this time. So nose comes towards the knee, shoulders over the wrists. Inhale, extend. Exhale to hover. Inhale, extend. And then exhale, step your foot all the way through this time. We'll keep the back heel spun up. And then begin to sweep the arms alongside the ears. So coming into a high lunge. So you might notice that you can reach a little bit higher through the fingertips now. Find a little more extension through that back leg. Take a breath in. Exhale, we'll shift the chest forward, extend the arms back. So coming onto a bit of a diagonal. Inhale to sweep the arms, upright the spine. Exhale to fold. Nice, inhale to reach. Exhale to fold. Nice, inhale, reaching high, high lunge. Exhale, warrior two this time. So ground down that back heel. Maybe adjust the stance as needed. And refocus your breath. Flip the front palm to reverse the warrior. And then keeping that reach through the right fingertips, begin to lead them through the front leg. So coming into a reverse triangle, both legs nice and straight. And then cut the hips back as you reach the right fingertips forward. So we'll allow that right hand to float somewhere down near the right shin. And then that left arm, you peel up towards the sky. So you really want to think both legs nice and straight, and then core engaged. So option to stay with this. If you want a little bit more, you can bring the left arm alongside the ear. Right arm alongside the ear. Breath in. Nice, grounding down, rise all the way up. Bend back into that front leg. Reverse the warrior once again. And then cartwheel the hands down to frame the front foot. Come up off that back heel, sweep the right leg back. So coming into a downward dog split. You can stay with this or bend the knee, fan up in the hip. Might feel nice to take some circles, the hip, maybe the ankle. And then just floating that foot back down. Option to stay in downward dog or move through a vinyasa of your choice. Nice. We'll meet back in downward facing dog. On your next inhale, sweep the left leg back. We'll come into that hover, so nose towards the knee, shoulders over the wrist. Inhale, extend. Exhale to hover. Inhale, extend. Exhale, step it all the way through. Keep the back heel spun up this time. As you feel steady, sweep the arms. High lunge. Find that reach through the fingertips. Back of the right thigh reaching toward the sky as well. Breath in. Exhale, shifting forward as you extend the arms back. Bring into airplane arms. Inhale to reach, high lunge. Exhale to fold. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, fold. Nice. Inhale, reaching high, high lunge. Exhale, open it out, warrior two. So adjust the stance as needed. Bring the palms to face down. Knees out over that front hand. We'll flip the front palm to reverse the warrior. Bring the arm alongside the ear. Nice. Keep that reach back through the left fingertips. Begin to straighten through the front leg. Begin to reverse triangle. And then keeping the legs as they are, begin to shift forward. So bringing that left hand to the inside of the left shin. Right arm can peel up towards the sky. Coming into triangle pose, Trikonasana. So trying not to dump into the left sideways to really find that engagement through the core. Option to stay here, bring that top arm alongside the ear. Bottom arm alongside the ear. Nice, breath in. And then rise all the way up, coming back to your warrior two. We'll flip the front palm, reverse the warrior. And then cartwheel the hands down. Sweep the left leg back. Into a downward dog split. Bend the knee, stand up in the hip. Take whatever movement feels nice here. And then we'll meet back in downward facing dog. Option to move through your vinyasa. Or find a few moments of stillness in downward facing dog. Nice. One more breath in your downward facing dog. And looking forward between the hands. Bottom of your exhale. Step or jump your feet to the top of your mat. Breathe and flat back. Exhale, hold. Bend the knees, sink the hips, sweep the arms, Uttanasana. And then exhale, we'll rise all the way up this way. Come into your Tadasana. Allow the eyes to close here. Find a sense of rooting down to the feet. Nice. And then blinking open the eyes here, we'll bring the hands back to heart center. Facing side. So we'll start by spreading the toes of the right foot here. And then slowly peeling the left leg up. We're going to come into tree pose. Your tree pose might stop here. It might come a little bit higher. You might need to help it up there a little bit. It might be wobbly. Think about engaging everything in. So pushing the palms into one another, and then pushing that foot into the leg and leg back. You're welcome to stay here or begin to peel the fingertips up towards the sky. Growing your branches. And gradually bringing the hands back to heart center. Release that foot. Bring it to face the front of your mat. So from here, we're going to take a little twist to the left. So bring that right hand to the outside of the thigh, and then extend the left arm back. Face this way down. So you might stop here, might feel enough of a twist, or you're welcome to reach down, grab hold of the left big toe, and maybe start to extend. So it might stop with a little bend in the knees. You might be able to extend all the way through. Nice, reaching out through the fingertips here. And then wherever you are, release hold of that knee or the toe. Bring the chest to face forward. Keep the arms reaching back. We're going to shift the weight forward as that left leg extends back. So coming into airplane pose, warrior three. Nice. And then gentle bend to that right knee to float the left toes back. And sweep the arms. High lunge. Taking a breath in. Exhale, open it out. Warrior two. Go ahead and straighten through the front leg here. Bring the right toes parallel to face the floor or face the side of your mat. Find a reach through the fingertips. And then keeping a nice long spine, flat back fold all the way forward. So coming into a wide-legged forward fold, you're welcome to come onto the fingertips, maybe forearms, or maybe coming onto a block. You're somewhere in between. Bringing it underneath the palms, the forearms. Letting everything go here. One more breath in your forward fold. And then coming up onto the palms if you're not there already, we'll just walk the hands around to frame the front foot. So bring those right toes to face forward, back heel can spin up, and then lower the back knee, untuck the toes. Here you can bring the hands to the top of that right thigh, sinking into the hips. Maybe noticing if this is a little bit different than the one earlier in class. And staying here, sweeping the arms alongside the ears, Anjaneyasana. Reaching up and back. And then cartwheeling the hands down to frame the front foot. We'll toe the foot to the outside of the mat, setting up for lizard pose. So you're welcome to come on to fingertips, forearms, or maybe a block if you're somewhere in between. Trying to make this as comfortable as possible. We'll stay with this for a couple rounds of breath. One more inhale and exhale here. Nice. Coming up onto the block or directly onto your mat here. Try to lift through the chest. Breath in. And then exhale straight to your front leg. Fold forward. Right toes might lift up. Inhale as you shift forward. Exhale as you shift back. Really getting into that right hamstring. Once more like this. We'll meet together with the right leg more or less extended. And just allow everything to release. Breath in. Let it go. Breathe as you bend into that front knee. And then tuck the back toes, lift the back thigh. And then step your left foot to the outside of the mat. So coming into a yogi squat. You can bring the hands to heart center. Start to press into the inner thighs to open out. And then you're welcome to stay with this, or if you're feeling a little adventurous today, you can try out crow pose. So you can bring your palms down, ground them down, and then walk the toes in close to the body. From here, you're going to want to scoot the, what are these? Scoot the legs up to the upper arm, and then shift the weight forward. Taking a point to focus on as you lift the toes. So might lift one, might lift both. Nice, so really think about engaging the core. Nice. So just playing around with that, maybe one or two more times. If you're hanging out in your yogi squat, you're welcome to bring the block just underneath your bottom. You can kind of sink into this, it's a little bit comfier. We're playing around, maybe a couple more breaths. And then from your yogi squat, just ground the palms, lift the hips up. And bring the heels as wide as the mat. Just shift the hips from side to side. Letting it go. And then toe the feet underneath the body here. You take a little bend in the knees. And then you're welcome to grab opposite elbows. Or maybe take a yogi toe. So you can wrap the peace sign fingers around the big toes. Just allow everything to become heavy. more breath here. And then releasing hold of the elbows or the toes, round down to the feet. Begin to roll all the way up. Into your Tadasana. Allow the eyes to close here. Let go of anything not related to your practice. Blinking open the eyes. We'll come to the other side. So it might be better, might be worse, who knows. We'll bring the hands together at heart center. Start by spreading the toes to the left foot this time. And then begin to peel the right foot up somewhere onto the left leg. Setting up for tree pose. So think about really pushing the palms into one another, the foot into the leg. You're welcome to stay with this, or maybe peel the fingertips up. Growing your branches. Focusing on a steady point. And keeping the legs as they are, floating the hands back down. Okay, so we'll release the foot, bring the knee to face forward. We'll come to this side this time. So keeping that foot lifted, we'll bring the left hand to the outside of the right thigh. Right hand can extend behind. So this in itself is a pretty decent twist. You're welcome to stay with this. Or if you are feeling more adventurous, you can reach down, grabbing hold of your right big toe, and then slowly begin to peel that leg out. Reaching through the leg, extending as much as you're able. Might be wobbly. One more breath. And then we'll prepare to shift into warrior three. So releasing that knee or the foot, bring the hands alongside the body, and then we'll float that right foot back. So really flex through the right foot like you're gonna make a footprint on the wall behind you as you bring the chest parallel to the mat. Nice, guys. Gentle bend into that front knee to float the foot back. And then sweep the arms. High lunge. From here, opening it out, warrior two. Go ahead and lean through the front leg. Bring the toes to face the side of the mat. Trying to lift through the chest. And then flat back, fold all the way forward. So coming into your second set of wide-legged forward fold. So might feel nice on this side to either come to palms, forearms, or blocks. Or if you want a little bit of movement, you can just shift from side to side. So shifting into the right hip, allow the left hands to lift off. Coming over to the left, right toes will lift. So yoga's choice here. Whether you need some calm or a little bit of movement. Staying with whatever you chose for another few rounds of breath. Nice, and then gradually straightening through both legs, coming back to your forward fold if you're not already there. Breath in. Let it go. And coming up onto the palms. We'll walk the hands around to frame the left foot this time. So left toes will face the top of the mat, back heel will spin up, and then lower that knee, untuck the toes, and float the hands to the top of the left thigh. So lift through the chest as you sink into the front hip. And then you're welcome to sweep the arms alongside the ears. Anjaneyasana. Breath into the fingertips. Heart rolling the hands down. We'll come on to the fingertips here. Toe to the left foot, the outside of the mat. We'll set up for lizard on this side. So might be the same props as the other side, might be different. So maybe coming to the fingertips, the forearms, or a block. And lowering into this. We'll stick with this for a few rounds of breath. Staying with us for another inhale and exhale. And coming up onto the palms, you're welcome to bring them onto the block or the mat. Take a breath in. Exhale, straighten through that front leg, fold forward. Inhale. And exhale. Nice, moving through this a few more times. And the next time that front leg is extended, just release into this. One more breath. And then breathe in as you bend that front knee. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Step that foot to the outside of the mat. So coming into your second set of a yogi squat. So I'll come to face the front of the mat for this one, or I guess the side of the mat. So if you've been in class, in-person class, recently, we were playing around with Firefly or Titivasana. So options here, if you are someone that has longer arms, you might not need blocks. If you are someone that has shorter arms, you might want to grab 2 blocks if you have them. And you're welcome to bring them behind your feet. So I am someone that has long arms, so I don't actually use these because they make it more difficult. But you're welcome to bring them behind your feet if you want them. So where we're going with this is you're going to bring your hands behind the feet here. So either on the mat or on the block. You might want to toe the feet in a little bit so that you can really bunker down. And then you're going to chaturanga arms here. So you're going to want to make kind of a shelf for your thigh to rest on the back of your arm. You're going to bring your hands behind, ground them with the palms, sink back. You got to trust yourself. If you fall, you're just falling on your bottom. Plenty of cushion there. And then you're going to start to maybe peel one toe and then the other out. And then you can gradually start to extend through the legs. Maybe lengthen through the arms. Whew, maybe not. So we'll go through that one more time. You're feeling adventurous. So again, blocks are optional, so you can bring them behind the feet. They usually throw me off, but we'll try it. You can bring them, bring your hands onto the blocks. So it kind of just gives a little bit of elevation. And then you're going to sink back, peeling one toe and then the other. And then gradually extending through the legs as much as you're able. And then floating down. It's not a graceful way to get out of it, so just do whatever works for you. Nice, so playing around with that maybe a little bit more. And then usually out of that pose, either you've been in yogi squat just watching, or you've been playing around and you landed on your bottom. So wherever you are, go ahead and sit all the way down. And grab a block if you have one. Bring it onto the side. And then from here, we'll just bend the knees in close to the body, extend the arms alongside. And then one vertebrae at a time, begin to roll all the way down. So coming onto the back. And release the hands down alongside the body, palms facing down. And then walk the feet in closer to the bottom. And we'll set up for 3 rounds of bridge here. So you can ground down to the shoulders, the palms, the feet. And then begin to peel one vertebrae at a time up towards the sky. So you want to think not only peeling the hips towards the sky, but also kind of reaching the knees towards the end of the mat. Nice breath in. And then slowly begin to peel all the way down. You're welcome to take another bridge, or you can take full wheel if you want. So you can bring the hands alongside the ears, ground down to the feet, and then think about hugging the elbows in towards one another as you ground down, push through the feet, push through the palms, lift all the way up. Coming into a full wheel, or Urdhva Dhanurasana. Okay, so if you're in a full wheel, just make sure you bring the chin towards the chest before bending the elbows and lowering down to protect the neck. And then if you're in bridge, just lowering back down. We'll take a final set of bridge or full wheel, or if you have a block at home, you can take a supported bridge. So it might feel nice to bring the block underneath the sacrum. So lift the hips, bring that block underneath that flat bony part of the spine. And then just allow the block to do the work for you. Maybe allow the eyes to close in this one if you're supported. Nice, and then grounding down the feet, remove the block if you have it, and just lower all the way down. And toe the feet as wide as the mat. And then bring the arms either out to a T, or maybe a goalpost arms, so that you have room for your knees to fall from side to side. Start to windshield wiper the legs, so allow them to drop to the left, and then the right. It might feel nice to kind of get the head involved here. So as you fall to the right, gaze can fall to the left. And as the knees fall to the left, gaze can fall to the right. Moving through this a couple more times, trying to match it with your breath as well. So inhaling as the knees reach high. Exhaling as you twist. Inhale to rise. Exhale to twist. And the next time you reach the knees over to the left, allow the knees to fall to the right. And we'll stay with this for a couple rounds of breath. So you're welcome to stay here where you can cross the left ankle over the right thigh. And use that to help deepen the twist. One more breath here. And then regrounding that left leg if you chose to cross it. Lift both knees up and allow them to fall to the right. Knees will fall to the left. Breathing into the sideways here. And you're welcome to cross the right ankle over the left thigh this time. Nice. Uncrossing the foot if you cross. Inhale, both knees high. And then bend the knees, hug them into the chest, wrap the arms around, lift the head. Give it a hug. Maybe take some gentle rocks from side to side. Nice breath in, hug it all in. And then use your entire exhale just to slowly unwind. Extending the legs long. Heels probably will fall in, toes might fall apart. Allow the palms to face up. Allow the eyes to close. Just sinking into your Shavasana. Final resting pose. Staying with your Shavasana. Another deep inhale and exhale. And then slowly begin to bring some movement back into the body. So wiggling the fingers, the toes, the wrists, and the ankles. Bring your awareness back into the space around you. And then reach the arms alongside the ears. A big good morning stretch. Lower back might lift up off the mat. And then bend the knees in, roll over to the right side. And cradle the head with the right arm. Coming back to your intention. And just taking a moment to acknowledge yourself for giving yourself 75 minutes.
Taking a deep breath in from here. Sending that breath all the way down to your toes. And then we'll start to focus on the breath here. Trying to bring your awareness to your breathing. Noticing the breath traveling in and out. And then we'll take a hand onto the belly and take a hand onto the chest. See if you can allow for the lungs to expand. And then the belly, creating some movement for that bottom hand. On every breath in, finding that expansion across the chest, the rib cage, the belly. As you exhale, just slowly allowing the belly to beat. And we'll release the arms. And then just start to bring some gentle movement to the body, maybe wiggling the fingers here, wiggling the toes. You can take a little circle of the ankles. Maybe from here, bending the elbows. And just taking a circle of the wrists. And then once you're ready on an inhalation, taking the arms all the way up overhead and just take the stretch from your fingers all the way down to your toes. And then we'll bend the elbows from here, just allowing the elbows to come by your sides. We'll take one knee and bend it in and then the other. And then nice and easy, walk your feet out toward the edges of the mat. So let the knees drop in here. And then slowly, starting to windshield wiper out the legs. We'll drop the knees over to the right. And then coming back to the center. And coming over to the left. Inhaling back to center. Exhale, come up and then over to the right. See if you can start to time this with your breath. And you can start to have an image in your mind, maybe sort of like seaweed underwater. So gently back to the center. Exhaling up and over to the left. Inhale, knees toward the center. Exhale up and over the right. And then you can start to move your head in that opposite direction. Nice and easy. Waking up the body. And then the next time that you drop your knees over to the left, we'll hold. Just easing over that right shoulder. Let that right low back and right rib cage peel away from the floor. Just start to direct some breath into that whole right side. And then as you inhale, lifting the knees back to the center, we'll come up and over, reaching the knees over toward the right this time. Look over that left shoulder, breathe into the left rib cage, the left ribs. And then releasing back to the center here, we'll wrap the arms around, give your knees a hug. Drawing the knees in toward the chest, and then nice and easy. You can take the hands underneath the knees and just try to create a circle here. So letting that low back release down into the floor. Circling a couple in one direction. And then reversing that circle. So coming in the opposite direction, take your time. And then from here, just keeping that right knee hugging in, we'll lengthen the left leg all the way long onto the mat. And then use your upper body strength to give this knee a tug. Start to release through the front of that hip. And we'll do that same circle. So starting to just circle like you're drawing a circle on the ceiling with that knee. Trying to release through that right hip, circling the opposite direction a couple of times. And then the next time you bring your knee in towards your chest, scoot your hips a bit to the right here. We'll take the knee across the body. And then you can bring this left hand to the outside of the knee if that feels okay. Look over the right shoulder. And then allow the weight of that right shoulder blade to release into the floor. Knee into a twist. One more breath. And then exhale here. Just unwind. Nice and easy. We'll slide the hands back behind this right thigh. You can bend this left knee in as needed. And just lengthen the right leg up toward the ceiling. And then bending that knee in. Drawing the foot in toward the sitting bone here and lengthen that leg. So just starting to test out the hamstrings. Move into the legs. Two more like that. Lengthening and extending, and then bend the knee. On this last one, we'll extend and hold. And you're welcome to stay here with the upper body released onto the floor, or slide the hands up to the calf. Maybe drawing your forehead toward the knee. Take a little deeper stretch in the hamstring. Breath in. And as you exhale, nice and easy, release that foot. Go ahead and allow that leg to nice and easy extend and lengthen all the way down to the floor. And then just allow that leg to drop open. Take a moment and maybe observe the difference in your hips. Maybe that leg feels a little longer. And then we'll get the left knee out this time. So interlacing the fingers up underneath this knee. Take a couple of breaths here, just starting to open up through the front of that hip. And then we'll start that same movement, a little bit of a circle. So let the sacrum, the low back, press down into the floor and then release. And then reversing that circle here. Come in the opposite direction. And it's a movement through the hip joint here. And the next time you draw your knee in toward your chest, scoot your hips about 2-3 inches to your left so that as you drop this knee across the body, the hips will stack. And then you can take this right hand to the knee, allow the weight of that left shoulder blade to release into the floor. Breathing into that whole left side. One more breath. Exhale, twisting out. And then just unwind and come back to your back here. Slide the hands back behind the thigh. We'll lengthen that leg. And then bend the knee in. And nice and slow, lengthen the leg. And bend the knee in and move on your breath here just a couple more times. Nice and easy. If you're feeling too much of a stretch, you can back off a little. And then on this last one, bring us that full extension, whatever that may be for you. And you can stay here, slide the hands up to the calf, draw your forehead toward your knee, have a little deeper stretch to the hamstrings, breath in. Nice and easy. Think of lengthening that leg toward the opposite wall. Slowly keeping that leg actively engaged, and then release it down. Take a moment just to feel the difference in your hips. Maybe that left leg feels a little bit longer. And then taking the arms up overhead here. Take a stretch from your fingers all the way down to your toes. We'll bend the knees in one at a time. And then slowly rolling over onto your side. Pausing here for a moment. You can use this arm up overhead. Just to cradle the head. And then as you're ready, pressing your way to a seat. So you're welcome to take a blanket or a block if you have one at home. Bring it underneath the hips here so that you're just elevating the hips. If you tend to be kind of rounded through your low back or your pelvis is tucked under, this will just elevate the hips, bringing the hips up higher than the knees. You can use a couch cushion if you like, or a blanket if you have one rolled up. And then shrug your shoulders up by your ears. We'll bring the shoulder blades onto your back. And then come back to your breath. Close the eyes once again. Relax your jaw a bit, soften your face. On every breath in, see if you can find that length up to the crown of the head, reaching the crown of the head toward the ceiling. And on every exhalation, see if you can find that sinking down. See if you can bring a little more grounding. A little more centering to this pose. Feel the weight of the sitting bones releasing down into the floor. And as you do, reach the crown of the head toward the ceiling. Deepening your breath here. Expanding the breath. On the inhale, expanding the lungs, the belly as you exhale. Slowly releasing. And then if you like, you can unmute for this part. We'll join the palms over the heart. I thought it might be nice to have an Om with everybody involved. So bring your thumbs right to heart center. And then allow the thumbs to drag the breastbone and have a little more lift up through the crown of your head. And then from here, take a moment to just set an intention for your practice, whatever that may be. And we'll seal that intention with the sound of 3 Oms. So inhaling. Take a breath. And exhale your breath, release your hands. Blink open the eyes. You can bring it back to mute. And then we'll just drop the ear toward the right shoulder here. Breathing into this, take a breath in. And as you exhale, drop your chin toward your chest. Finding to stretch the head and neck. And then breathing in here as you exhale, dropping your ear toward the left shoulder. Try not to let this shoulder creep up by the ear. And we'll come back to center. Let the weight of the head release. And then rolling back over toward the right shoulder. So try to keep this right shoulder relaxed away from the ear. Breathing into that stretch, bring the chin toward the chest once again. And then from here, rolling back over to that left shoulder. And then lengthen the crown of the head toward the ceiling. Shrug your shoulders up by the ears. Draw the shoulder blades down onto the back. Shrug the shoulders. Draw the shoulder blades down onto the back. 2 more like that. Last one. I'm going to reverse the circle. So coming in the opposite direction. Shrug your shoulders, bring them forward. Shrugging the shoulders, draw them forward. 2 more like that. And then from here, drawing the shoulder blades all the way down onto the back. This time release the hands out so fingertips just barely touch the floor as you inhale, sweep the arms all the way up, open across your chest. And as you exhale, reaching out through the fingertips, press your space away. So the palms will face up, sweep the arms, open the chest. Join the palms together, exhale, press the space away. 1 more like that. Inhale, arms lift. Maybe if you can, straightening through those elbows. Exhale, reaching out through the fingertips. Nice. This next time we inhale, we'll take the arms all the way overhead. And as we exhale, just take a side bend over to your right. So releasing that hand down from here. Keep your chest turning up. Keep your side waist long. See if you can glue that opposite sitting bone all the way down to the floor. Take 1 more breath into the side waist here. Release your hand to the floor. Draw your forehead toward your knee this time. So allowing that left shoulder to drop a bit, weight of the head releases. Take a breath in. We'll sweep that hand to the outside of the knee. Take your other hand and come onto your fingertips. Grow a little taller first. And from here, come into a twist. So on inhale breath, lengthening up through the crown of the head. Exhale, think of your ribs wrapping around. From here, the head and neck will follow. 1 more breath, grow tall. Deepening this twist. And then on your next breath in, unwind. We'll sweep the arms all the way up and backstroke the arms behind you. Come to fingertips here. Lift your heart, so lifting your chest, a little bit of a back bend. And allow the elbows to bend. 1 more breath. We'll rock back to the sitting bones nice and easy. And just switch the crossing of the legs. Go ahead and bring your fingertips so they barely touch. Take the palms to face up, sweep the arms. Taking the palms together, exhale, press the space away. Inhale, arms sweep open across your chest, join your palms. Exhale, reaching out through the fingertips, press the space away. You can imagine your arms are like sun rays, and then reaching out, feel that energy reach out through the fingertips. This next time you breathe in, take the arms all the way up. We'll take a side bend to the left this time. And then releasing that left arm down, right arm alongside the ear, and a little more length, but as you do, make sure this hip isn't lifting up, so ground down through that sitting bone. Reaching out through the fingertips, send some breath into those lower ribs, breathing in, sweep the arm down, forehead toward the knee. And then from here, taking a breath, we'll sweep this hand to the outside of the knee. Come on to fingertips, we're a little taller here. As you exhale, coming back twist. So on an inhale breath, we're top. Exhale, ribs wrapping around head and neck. So the crown of the head will reach up toward the ceiling, creating space, creating length, and then deepening that twist. Stay here, one more breath. And then as we unwind, we'll take the arms all the way up. Backstroke your arms all the way back behind you. Come to fingertips here. Bend your elbows, lift your heart from here. The chest will lift, little back bend. One more breath. And then nice and easy releasing. So coming off of your block here, if you're on one, we're going to come onto hands and knees. If you feel any discomfort in the knees, you could double up your mat, or you could maybe slide a blanket underneath the knees for support. And then make sure you're all lined up, so hips and knees. Tuck your shoulders so they're right over top of your wrists. We'll spread the fingers. Think of pressing down into the floor here through those finger pads and knuckle pads. And start to warm up the wrists, so shifting forward and shifting back a bit. I want you to focus on bringing weight into all parts of the hand so it doesn't just come right into that wrist. Shifting forward and back, keeping the fingers spread. A little bit of action, so activating through the hands and the arms. And then the next time that you shift forward, we'll go ahead and bring it so that we're right in the center. And then just dropping the belly here will allow the heart to extend. And as you exhale, think of curling the tail under as you round up through your spine. So as you inhale from here, your belly will drop. From here, the heart will lift. And as you exhale, think of pressing into the floor as you round all the way up. And then just moving through cat and cow, the belly drops, the heart lifts. Exhale, press the floor away, round all the way up, curl the tail under. Once again, inhaling, extending the heart. This time as you exhale, we'll curl all the way up. Keep your spine round. Just separate the knees a little wider apart. Bring your big toes together. Sink the hips for the heels. Inch the fingertips out a little further in front. Allow the weight of the forehead to rest on the mat. If the forehead doesn't rest on the mat, maybe take the knees a little bit wider here. And then start to inch the fingertips a little further in front of you. And as you press into the hands, hover the elbows away. Get the stretch of the shoulders. Take a breath here. Nice and easy. We're going to walk this over to the right. As you do, bring your hips over to the left. Getting the stretch of that whole left side, breathing into it. One more breath. And then keep this nice and long. We'll walk up through center. Take your time. And make your way over to the left. So this time reaching the hips toward the right. And then breathe into that right side. And we'll come back over to the middle. And from here, keep the hands where they are. We'll inhale and shift forward. So the hands will be slightly forward. And then you can keep the knees a little bit wider. We're just going to rock forward and back. So inhale, shifting forward. Exhale, curl your tail under as you round back. So think of lengthening through the belly as you shift forward. Exhale, tailbone draws you back around your spine. Two more like that. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, let the tailbone draw you back around in the spine. One more inhale, lengthen through the belly. And exhale as you rock back. We're going to take this into a circle. So the next time that you shift forward, bring the weight into that right hand. Sink the hips all the way back toward the heels and come all the way out and around and over toward the left. Nice and easy. Go through a couple more circles like that. So keep the arms actively engaged here. Starting to warm up the shoulders, warming up the hips. The next time you circle back around, we're going to reverse that circle. So bringing your weight into the left hand, hips toward the heels, circle it all the way around to the right. Nice and easy. A couple more times. And then this next time, we'll come all the way back around to all fours. So realign just a bit. Bring the hips and knees in line. From here, stack your shoulders over top the wrists once again. And as you inhale, we'll sweep the right arm open across the chest. And as you exhale, threading that needle, we're going to bring it all the way through. So you can rest your ear here on a block or on the floor, and then inch the other hand out long in front of you and press into this hand. And then notice if your hips shifted all the way over toward the left, can you reach some weight back toward the right? That should deepen the opening for the shoulders. Your arms kind of form an L here, and then just breathing into that stretch. Nice, you can stay here. Float this arm up, opening across the chest. So one more breath, and we'll unwind. slide your hand back here underneath the shoulder, ground down and rise up, unwind that right arm, and come back to all fours. We're gonna come on to the other side. So sweeping the left arm this time, open across the chest here, and then as you exhale, just threading the needle, bring it all the way through. Release that shoulder down to the mat, the ear can come toward the mat, maybe onto a block as needed, and then walk this right hand down. And you can press into the right hand and start to open through the shoulder, breathing in and out. Staying with this, we're floating this arm up toward the ceiling, open across the chest here. Take another breath in, and then nice and easy, unwind, sliding that hand back underneath the shoulder. Find a little lift and support through your belly. Press into that hand, unwind the left arm this time. Opening across the chest once again, and taking the hand back down to the floor. Nice, we'll slide the hands forward, just about a palm's length. This time we're gonna tuck the toes, lift the knees, reach your hips up and back, and then start to pedal. So bending one knee as you reach and straighten that opposite heel toward your back. So nice and easy, taking your time. Just warming up, getting things moving. And then lengthen the heels toward the mat here. So lifting up through the same move, really pressing into the hands. The chest is moving toward the thighs. We're lengthening the heels toward the floor. Now remember, you can also, let's all try lifting the heels and then bend the knees from here. Move the chest toward your thighs. You can keep that bend in the knees if this feels better. Distributing some of that weight toward the lower body. Or from here, lengthen the heels toward the floor. So you're not trying to jam the heels down, just a feeling of lengthening. So they may touch, they may not. And then nice and easy, we're gonna walk the hands all the way back toward the feet. So bend the knees as much as you need to here. We're gonna come to a forward fold at the back of the mat to allow the weight of the head to release. Relax your jaw here. You're welcome to take hands to a block. If you've got one. You can also just take a hold of opposite elbows. Bend the knees deeply. Allow the chest to collapse onto the thighs here. Allow the head to be heavy. We're gonna nod at yes and shake it no. So just releasing any tension through your head, your neck, your shoulders. And then you can take a little bit of a sway here, opening up that side body, rocking side to side, take your time. And we'll come to rest in the middle here. Rebend the knees if you work towards lengthening the legs. And we'll release the block, and then we'll roll it up to stand. So think of stacking one vertebrae on top of another here, using that engagement through the abdominals, knees are soft. Roll your shoulders back to the top. And then we'll come to stand in Tadasana. So just taking a moment here, you can bring your big toes and your heels to touch, or if that feels a little uncomfortable for you, separate the feet a little wider. And then lift all 10 toes, spread your toes, and move down one at a time from those pinkies all the way to the big toes. Find a little lift through the arches of the feet. Let that lift carry up. So lift the kneecaps here, engage your quads. Drop the tailbone down, roll your shoulders back. Tadasana, mountain pose. Nice. From here, we'll turn the palms to face out. And as you inhale, sweep the arms all the way up overhead. And on an exhale, just releasing the arms back down by your sides. Inhale, arms sweep like rays of sunshine. Open the chest. Exhale, reaching out through the fingertips. Press the space away. One more. And inhale, lift. Open the chest here. And then exhale, releasing. We're going to add on from here. So the next time you inhale, take your arms all the way up overhead. We'll take a bend in the knees as much as needed, and then come through a long spine and just fold forward. This time, lift the belly away from the thighs. You may need to bring hands all the way up to the thighs or the shins here. And then folding forward, ground your feet. Take the arms all the way up, and inhale, breath, rise. And releasing the arms down. Tadasana. Inhale, taking the arms up. Exhale, hinging from your hips, a little bend in the knees as you fold all the way forward. Lengthening the belly here, so hands might come to shins or thighs. Really roll the shoulders back. Make sure that head is in line with the spine, no tension in the back of the neck. Folding forward here, ground your feet, we'll sweep the arms, rise all the way up to stand. And releasing the arms back down. Tadasana. Nice, so we'll come into some step backs. So a modified version of our sun salute. We're gonna come all the way to the head of the mat. Come back to Tadasana, that mountain pose, ground down to the feet, reach up to the crown of the head. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, hinging from your hips. We'll hold forward, a little bend in the knees as needed. This time, lengthening the belly. The heart draws forward, we'll take the right leg back. So we're gonna come into a low lunge. Wiggle the toes back a bit and bringing that knee sort of lines over the ankle. And then find a little lift to your belly here and step that foot back to meet the other foot, coming into downward facing dog. So remember, you can have the heels lifted, a bend in the knees. Inhale, shift forward and come into what's called a high plank, shoulders over top your wrists, holding for a moment. Lower your knees all the way down, and then see if with control you can lower all the way onto your belly. Nice, we'll untuck the toes, and from here, peel your chest away, activate the legs. So come into a baby cobra, and then drawing back to all fours. From here, tuck your toes, lift your knees, and reach your hips up and back. Inhaling the right leg forward. Come back to lunge, and then step that left foot to meet your right. Fold over the legs here. Little bend in the knees, take the arms up. And releasing the arms down. Tadasana. Inhale, sweeping the arms. We'll hinge from the hips here. Little bend in the knees as you fold forward. This time, lengthening the belly. Heart draws forward, we'll step the left leg back. And then check to make sure this knee aligns over the ankle. Wiggle the back toes back a bit. And then strongly lift that back leg toward the ceiling. And we'll step the right foot back to meet the left, making your way into downward facing dog. So the knees can be bent. Shift forward and come into a plank, shoulders over top the wrist, lowering the knees down. Nice and easy, lower all the way onto your belly. Activate the legs, lift the chest, cobra, and then pressing into the hands here, come back for all fours. From here, tuck your toes, lift your knees, reach your hips up and back, take a breath. And then inhale the left leg, coming back into a lunge, step the right foot to meet it. Little bend in the knees here. Hinge from your hips, rise up. And releasing the arms back down. Tadasana. Nice, we'll inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold forward, a little bend in the knees as needed. Lengthen your belly. This time stepping that right foot back once again. And then from here, we'll lower that back knee all the way down. So if you need to, take some padding to that knee, sink your hips a bit. And you're always welcome to use blocks here for fingertips don't touch the floor, if you have them at home. And then we'll take the hands onto this front thigh, lift your chest. Nice, inhale, sweep the arms all the way up. Anjaneyasana. Exhale, release the hands down. And then we'll lengthen through this front leg. So back knee is on the mat. As you breathe in, heart draws forward. Exhale to lengthen through that front leg. Draw your hips back. Two more like that, moving on your back, nice and easy. Warming up the fronts of the hips, the backs of the legs. And on this last one, we'll hold right here. You don't have to straighten through that front knee all the way. If you do and you want to lift those left toes, go for it. Take another breath here. And we'll rebend this front knee. And from here, you can release your blocks. And then tuck your back toes under and step that left foot back to meet your right. Coming forward into a plank, lowering the knees down to your mat. And then lower all the way onto your belly. We'll activate the legs from here. Let that support a little lift through the chest. And then drawing back onto all fours. From here, tuck your toes, lifting the knees and reaching the hips up and back. Inhaling that right leg through. And then step the left foot to meet your right. Fold over the legs. And then from here, sweep the arms up. And releasing the arms down. Coming on to the other side, inhaling the arms all the way up overhead. Hinging from your hips here, so a little bend in the knees. So you can come through a flat back all the way down and then fold over. This time, sending the left leg back. Find that lift through the chest. And we'll lower that back knee all the way down. So you can double up your mat here, or if you've got a sweatshirt handy, maybe add some padding underneath that knee. Blocks to the hands here, or come onto fingertips. Start to sink. Take your hands to that front thigh, lift your chest. Make sure the pelvis is traveling forward evenly here, and then sweep the arms as you breathe in. And from here, we'll release the hands down. Take your blocks or fingertips, lift, And then as you exhale, draw down. We'll rebend the front knee, drawing the heart forward. Exhale to lengthen all the way through that front leg, or you can keep a little bend in the knee. And then rebend. And straightening as much as you can. And then this time we'll hold, so finding that stretch of the hamstrings, breathe into it. You can soften the face here, soften the jaw. One more breath. We'll rebend that front knee. So heart draws forward, tuck the back toes under, lift the belly, and stepping that foot back. Downward dog. So you can keep the knees bent here. Ride your breath forward. Plank, lower the knees. Hug the elbows in and see if you can lower all the way onto your belly. Feeling the chest away, maybe a larger cobra, or stick with baby cobra. And then drawing back onto all fours, tucking the toes. Drawing your hips up and back. Take a breath. And on your next inhale, taking that left leg forward. Then wiggle the back toes back a bit from here. Didn't make it all the way through. And then step that right foot forward. Fold over. Ground your feet here. Take the arms up. And releasing the arms back down. Nice, Shavasana. Let's take the arms all the way up overhead as you inhale here and then fold forward over your legs. This time we're just going to step the left foot back. Ground the back heel, and then you can trace a line from your front heel to the inner arch of that back foot. As you feel steady, float the arms up. Come into warrior one. Bend into that front knee. Anchor down through the outer edge of that back foot. As you ground the heel, lift the chest. Find this extension up through the arms. Breathing in and out. We'll take a breath here. And as you exhale, open up to two. So you might find for you, since the pelvis is a little wider facing this way, you have to lengthen the stance. So feel free to bring that front foot forward a bit or the back leg back. This time you're drawing a line pretty much from the heel to the inner arch of that foot. And then sink into that front knee. Extend the arms out. Come back to your breath. Nice, take another breath in here. Exhaling. One more deep inhale. And then from here, as you inhale, take this back hand and bring it all the way down to the floor. You're going to allow that back heel to spin up, lower your back knee. Sink your hips once again. And then setting up for Anjaneyasana, taking the hands onto the front thigh, lift your chest. And from here, floating the arms up. Nice, we'll release the hands all the way down. This time, lengthen through this front leg. And hold right here. Taking another breath in. Another breath out, maybe the right toes lift. Maybe you're able to take the hands away from the blocks. And then as you're ready, shifting back into a low lunge here. Tuck your back toes under. This time, step your back foot in just a bit. Lengthen all the way through that front leg this time. And hold. So hands can come to blocks if they don't readily reach the floor. And remember, there's three heights. So we have the high height, we have the medium, or the low height. Better to grab a hold of blocks though than be really unsteady. If you don't have blocks at home or something you can use in place of them, come onto your fingertips. And then we'll rebend this front knee. We're going to come back into a low lunge. This time stepping that left foot to meet your right. Toe heel the feet apart just a bit. And then from here, lengthen your belly. Take a little bend in the knees. And as you fold, allow the weight of the head to release. So again, you can use a block here. Or you can take a hold of opposite elbows. Allow the weight of the head to hang around your jaw. I'm just easing into this. Maybe staying with the knees bent, or maybe you're able to straighten through the knees just a bit. Relax your jaw, relax your head. You can nod it side to side. Shake the head if you like. And then we'll soften the knees here. I'm gonna roll it up to stand, so engage the abdominals. Make sure you're pressing the floor away, so even though you have that bend in the knees, roll your shoulders back for tall. Nice, inhale, take the arms all the way up. Exhale, fold. This time we'll step the right leg back. So we're gonna come into a lunge to start, and then ground your back heel. So you might need to step it in a little bit. And then draw that imaginary line from the heel to the heel or the inner arch of that back foot. Press down through the feet, reach up through the arms. Come to warrior one. And then see if you can find this extension. So if taking the arms straight up feels like too much, maybe take the arms to a little bit of a V here. Bend it to that front knee and ground your back heel. And then from the grounding that heel, find that lift through your chest. Take another breath in here. And then as you inhale on the exhale breath, open up to 2. So again, maybe readjusting the stance, bringing that front foot forward, back like that. Bend into this front knee. Find that reach and extension for the arms. Steady your eyes. Looking straight down that left index finger. Maybe find a point on the wall that you can stare at to focus. From here, we'll take the back hand down. Lower that back knee, sink your hips. Again, maybe taking some padding to that back knee as needed. You can double up the mat or ground your sweatshirt. Sink your hips. Maybe hands to blocks here, coming onto fingertips. And then from here, if you like, hands onto your front thigh, and we'll sweep the arms, Anjaneyasana. And then take a breath here, release, and just lengthen over that leg. Maybe toe heeling the foot forward a bit. And staying here, reaching the left toes away from the floor. And maybe you're able to lower the blocks or take hands down, lengthening through the belly here, breathing into this. Take another breath in. Exhale your breath. Rebend the front knee. We're going to come back into that lunge. And then step the right foot to meet the left. Don't feel your feet apart a bit. Opposite elbows, or if you're more flexible, you can take your index finger and your next finger and wrap around your big toes. Lifting your heart here, and then just folding forward. Perfectly fine to take a hold of the elbows, or maybe even a block. And then bend the knees, release the chest toward the thighs. Staying here, lengthening through the backs of those legs. We'll take another breath in, and then we're going to soften the knees and roll your way up to stand. Think of stacking one vertebrae on top of another. Engage your jaw, shoulders fall back, grow tall. Nice. From here, we're going to come into a balance pose. So you may want to be handy with a wall so that you can lean on it just in case. So starting in Tadasana, lift all 10 toes once again. Spread your toes. Bring them down one at a time. And then find that little lift up. And from that lift of the inner arch of the foot, lift the kneecaps or engage your quads. You're dropping the tailbone down, but reach the crown of the hip. And then start to pour all the weight into that right foot. Keeping the toes spread. Give yourself a lot of surface area. Bring all the weight into that leg. You can either bring this foot up to kickstand with the foot touching down to the floor, heel to heel. You can take it to the calf, maybe to the inner thigh. Join your palms over your head. Set your gaze or your drishti at one still point, preferably a spot on a wall. And then really actively engage that standing leg here and think of pressing the foot into the leg and then press the leg back into the foot. We're welcome to stay with hands to the heart. Remember, you can always steady yourself using your wall. If you like, from here, reaching the arms. And for a little more challenge, maybe taking my gaze up toward the ceiling. Breathe. Nice and easy, we'll release back down. Take a moment, stand in Tadasana. Nice, we'll spread through the toes of the left foot this time. Pour all that weight into the left leg. So remember, kickstand, you can keep the foot on the floor. You can bring it to the calf. You can grab a hold of that foot and bring it into the thigh. And then actively press the thigh into the foot and the foot into the thigh. Those little adjustments that your ankle is making, that's balance. So let your ankle wobble, but energize that leg. So you're not a stick in cement, you're a tree, swaying the breeze. You can stay here, you can grow your branches, reaching the arms. And then if you like, for a little more challenge, lifting the gaze up toward the ceiling, breathe. Getting some sunshine here, and then releasing nice and easy. We'll come back to Tadasana. Release the arms. Coming back to 2 feet, nice. So from here, we're gonna come all the way down to the floor. You're welcome to get down on your own, or you can come through a sequence. So inhaling, lifting the arms all the way overhead. We'll fold forward. This time, we're gonna step back with that right foot, and then we'll step back with the left foot. Come into your downward dog and shift forward. Come on to hands and knees here, and then sink your hips back toward your heels and round your spine. So coming back into a child's pose. And allow the weight of the forehead to release here. And we'll shift forward once again. So from here, go ahead and bring your shoulders so they're in line with the wrists. And you can just lower down, or for a little more challenge, nice and easy, elbows hugging in all the way onto your belly, and then readjust a bit here. We're going to turn the gaze over that right shoulder. You can press your left ear into the mat. Release your arms at your sides. And then to neutralize the spine, allow the heels to fall apart. The big toes may come toward one another. And we're going to do a little bit of back bending here. So we're going to slide the hands underneath the shoulders, maybe slightly forward. Notice that the elbows want to point out. Can you draw them in toward your side ribs? And then see if you can find an engagement of the lower belly. Let there be a little bit of a tuck, not a full tuck, but an engagement through the glutes. And then from here, squeeze the legs and think of lifting the kneecaps away from the mat. Bring your chin to the top of your mat. And then start to, from that activation of the legs, lift your chest. So don't just press your hands into the floor and lift up. So release back down, heel up again. Test yourself, hands away from the floor. And then lower down, look over that other shoulder. Release your arms to your side, take your hips side to side. Take a breather. Chin back to the top of the mat. We're going to come into one more set. So let the elbows draw in toward the side ribs. Activate the legs. Start to peel the chest away. Maybe taking a larger cobra here. And then nice and easy, slowly lowering. And we'll go over that opposite shoulder. Shimmy the hips side to side. Let go of tension in the head, neck, and shoulders if you like by pressing that ear into the mat. And we'll bring the chin to the top of the mat. And this time, as you inhale, peel the chest away. Activate the legs and then let the toes float away from the mat. And then think of lengthening in both directions as you peel up a little bit higher. Shoulders roll back, feel higher, but keep your head in line with the spine. And then float back down, look over that other shoulder. Take your hips side to side, release. We'll come into one more back bend here. So chin to the top of the mat. This time lift the chest, the thighs away. Everything, fingertips reach. Back of the neck is long, so don't strain the neck. Lift a little higher from here through the chest, not by straining the neck. And then lower all the way back down. Let it go. Shimmy the hips side to side. Let the heels fall apart. Big toes come toward one another. And then we'll slide the hands up underneath your shoulders here. Pressing back onto all fours, separate the knees a little bit wider than usual. We're going to take a wide knee child's pose. If the forehead doesn't rest on the mat, maybe take the knees a little wider. If this position is not comfortable for you, remember you have this option. Coming into a puppy with the hips over the knees. And just allow the spine to hammock here. And then from here, go ahead and make your way up. So swing the legs around to a seat. You can take that block underneath of the hips if you like. Notice if your pelvis is tucked under your rock back. So you don't want to come into a forward fold like this. So if you're tucked under here and you have a block or a blanket, fold your blanket in half or block underneath your hips. Now the idea is to elevate the hips here. And you want to be up on the sitting bones. The other thing you can do is just bend the knees. So you're up on the sitting bones, take a hand to your low back. Make sure you have this inward curve of the spine. So that means your pelvis is not rocked back here. And then find length up through the crown of the head, take a breath in. And as you exhale, fold over your legs. So we're coming into Paschimottanasana. If you feel tension right here in the back, maybe back off a little, maybe bend the knees a little more. And then just softening into this. Can you allow for your face to soften? Can you allow for your gaze to go internal? Can you allow for your head to hang? Take another breath here. And nice and easy, we're going to roll it up, stacking one vertebrae on top of another. Come all the way to stand or to sit tall. Ground down through your palms, shoulders away from the ears. Lengthen up through the crown of the head. Stick pose, Tandasana. And then bend your knees in here, slide forward. We're going to come back onto the back, nice and easy. Making your way back down. This time, take your right ankle, bring it to your left knee. So you're welcome to stick with this if you're already feeling that stretch in the hip. If you have a block, foot underneath. You can also lift that foot away. Option to bring your hands back behind this left thigh. Breathe into this stretch. Relax your jaw here. Soften your face. On every exhale, maybe bringing this in a little bit closer. Take another deep inhale here. We'll lengthen that leg up toward the ceiling if that feels comfortable for you, and just take a little circle of the ankle. Circling it the other way. And then from here, you can flex and draw the foot in and maybe point and lift it up. Flex, draw it in. Point and lift it up. On this last one, we'll hold here. Take a breath in and out. And then lengthen that leg all the way. Go ahead and scoot your hips a bit to your right. We're going to take this knee across the body. And you can take a block underneath the knee if you like. Make sure the hips are stacked one on top of the other, and then let the weight of that right shoulder blade release. Bring back into this twist. Looking over that shoulder, one more breath. We'll unwind here, and this time take your left ankle to your right. So coming into this reclining version of pigeon. So remember, if this, you can keep that foot on the floor for adding a little more stretch, maybe to a block, or slide the hands back behind the thigh. If that feels okay. If you're really tensing up your upper body in order to make this happen, just keep your upper body relaxed. More important to soften and relax other parts to help to maybe deepen that stretch. And then just breathe into this. Flex the feet a bit. Draw your toes back. Coming into the stretch for the hips. Take another breath here. And we'll lengthen that leg up toward the ceiling. Maybe circling the ankle, if that feels good. Circling the other way. And then if you like, you can flex and draw it in and point lift it up, or you can just stay with the stretch. One more like that. Maybe drawing this knee in a little bit closer, but keep that knee opening out to the left. And then extend that leg long. So scooching your hips just a bit to the left this time. Taking the knee across the body, that knee can come to block the floor. Let the weight of that left shoulder blade release into the floor. And breathe into the stretch. And then we'll unwind here. We'll walk the feet in toward the sitting bones. And then from here, we'll come into a nice easy bridge. So press your low back down, and then from there, peel the hips up. And then think of lengthening the knees toward that opposite wall. Find a little bit of sense of adducting here. So don't let those knees display. And then as you roll down, take a breath, and think of rolling bone by bone. So slow it down, nice and easy. Off the way, down to the floor. And then we'll come into a second set of bridge. So chin comes toward the chest slightly, peel the hips up toward the ceiling. You're lengthening the knees toward that opposite wall. Little sense of adducting or drawing one toward the midline. Little engagement of the glutes here, but not clenching, but still squeezing. And then as you lower down, take a breath. Take that entire out breath to lower down bone by bone, nice and slow. Nice. From here, if you have a block, you're welcome to grab it, or you can also use maybe a cushion or blankets. So low height or medium height, your choice. We're going to bring it underneath the sacrum, which is that flat bone right at the base of the spine. And then we're going to come into a supported bridge here. So let that block do the work for you. And you're welcome to stay right here with that supported bridge, or from here you can lengthen one leg up toward the ceiling and then the other. Always keep the knees bent. Release your arms so your palms face up. Working our way into a supported shoulder stand here. And then we'll stay with supported shoulder stand a good 5 to 6 breaths. Another breath here. As you exhale, slowly bend the knees in. Take that entire exhale and slowly lower your feet all the way down. Once the feet touch down, lift your hips, slide your block out here. Walking your feet out to the edges of the mat, we'll drop the knees in toward the center, bring the arms at your sides. Start to windshield wiper out the legs. So nice and easy. Going to the right and the left. Coming back to where we started at the beginning of class, see if you can connect this back to your breath. Inhaling back toward the center. Exhale up and over the right. Inhale, center. Exhale up and over to the left. Imagining like seaweed underwater on a calm day. And then the next time you drop your knees over to the left, look over that right shoulder. Direct some breath into that whole right side. Coming back to the center, coming up and over to the left this time, and directing some breath into that whole left side. And then nice and easy, coming back to the center. We'll give the knees a hug here. And just do a little circle, releasing that low back into the floor. And then we have a couple of options from here. You can come into a traditional Shavasana, like we started with. Or you're welcome, if you have some space at the wall, you're welcome to end with a little legs up the wall. So you can use your block or not, kind of shifting onto that block, coming onto your side, and then kind of swinging the legs around. We'll try it without the block. And then from here, you can bend your knees in, walk it in a bit. And then just staying here. Allow the eyes to close. Bring your palms to face up here, relax your jaw.
Another breath. Exhale your breath. And take your head side to side. You're in Shavasana, taking the arms up overhead, getting a final stretch from ears to toes. And if you're in legs up the wall, go ahead and bend the knees, and one at a time, allow the feet to slowly drag down the wall. Taking that right arm up overhead, in either position, bending the knees and then making your way onto your right side. We'll pause. Take a moment. Just soaking in all the effects of practice today. And then as you're ready, nice and easy, pressing your way up to a seat. Take your time. Allow your head to be the last to come up. We'll come back to that easy seat if you need to, bringing some padding underneath your seat here. Sitting up nice and tall. You can turn your audio back on if you like. We'll come back to the breath. And we'll rejoin the palms right together over the heart. Bring your thumbs to heart center. We're going to end class today with the sound of one Om. So inhaling. Take a breath. Exhale it out. Bring your thumbs to forehead center, holding forward as we say Namaste.